Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bet Right Sports Betting Podcast presented by Six Pack Coverage Media Network. It's your host, Jeff Farrell, here with my co-host, Andrew Tanzi, coming at you in the final week of the NFL regular season, the first ever Week 18. We will start the show with a little Week 17 recap. Spoiler alert, things did not go well, but that's okay. Bad weeks happen. We're going to learn from it and bounce back. After the recap, we'll go game by game, navigating through all the chaos and the mayhem that is Week 18, factoring in the quit potential, motivation, playoff scenarios, injuries, COVID. We'll make our way through every game and give you valuable information to make bets this week. Rue, how we doing?
Good, man. Week 17 was a pretty great week, is what I would say to you if I was Joe Judge and full of absolute crap. It was actually
I was like, where are you going with this? It's a terrible week.
It's actually not a great week, but second losing week for us out of 17 weeks. So no
Not
complaints
bad.
here. You just move on from it, and we're on to week 18.
All right, let's do it. Week 17 recap, debate of the week. We did not have one. We will have one today. So Rue currently is a 1-game lead. We'll see what happens there. Favorite bets of the week. We both took losses. You had the Bucks minus 13. Barely won the game. What happened there?
Yeah, I still don't know what the heck happened there. And they couldn't stop Zach Wilson and the Jets offense. That's what it was. And I know, Evans and Antonio Brown were obviously on pitch counts, and the whole Antonio Brown situation would have to go in. But even with what Brady had on offense, they still shouldn't be able to put that team away. It was more on the defense not being able to stop the Jets, which is just absolutely mind blowing and raises some more red flags about this Bucks team heading into the playoffs in my mind.
I had about as equally an awful favorite bet of the week for me. I had the Dolphins plus 3.5. They were never really in that game at all. I will get to more on this one in my zero of the week, but thank you, Miami Dolphins, for not even showing up. So we will both go to 11-5 on the year for our favorite bets.
Yeah, I was on that one. I was on that one with you, and come Sunday, I absolutely hated it.
See, I liked it the whole week. I was confident in
it. Yeah, I just kept getting less confident going into Sunday. You had the weather factor in there, which I thought favored the Titans big time. And
I agree with that, yeah.
So, yeah, come Sunday, I wasn't too thrilled, but I didn't change my position or anything like that. But I wasn't too shocked when it didn't go in our favor.
Right. Long shots of the week. You did have a very nice win here. Devin Singletary, 7 rushing yards, got in the end zone. The Bills money line came home. 6-10 long shots of the week for you. Was it tilting in the first half watching Josh Allen throw 27 incompletions and 3 interceptions?
Yeah, it's just crazy what it takes for this Bills team to actually commit to running the ball. I mean, there was a point where Devin Singletary was averaging like a yard and a half more per rush than Allen was per pass. And Allen had 2 turnovers, and they just still pass every play. Every time Singletary touches the ball, he's running for 5 yards. And it took him finally, once they committed to the run, he ends up rushing for over 100 yards. And it's just something this Bills team has needed for the last 2-3 years is a back they can rely on and give the ball to like that. So I'm going to be honest, I don't expect it to continue into the playoffs. I expect the Bills to do what they do and just throw with Josh Allen as much as possible. So I don't know.
I think nice. They could add an element to their offense.
I agree, but I don't think they'll do it.
I agree, but yeah, if they're this stubborn against the Chiefs or against the Colts or someone like that, and they're down 14-0 before they start to commit to the run, it's going to be too late.
Yeah,
you don't get to play the Atlanta Falcons every week, so. Silly by the Buffalo Bills. I dropped my long shot of the week. I go to 6-8. Amon-Ra St. Brown, my dude, came through with a huge receiving performance. The Lions money line did not go well. They gave
it did not
50+ points. Never had a chance. That was a frustrating one. Chalk Donkey Parlay did come home 6-5 on the year, still profitable there. A +101 win of Bucks, Bills, and Eagles. Bucks and the Bills were a little bit sweaty. Definitely the Bucks were. The Eagles came home pretty easily. So plus money winner there. And our prop sheet did not go well. 6-11 on the week, 113-64 overall. Ronald Jones got hurt. Devontae Parker got 27 targets and still under 50 yards. It was just a mess.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of the Dolphins-Titans game on Red Zone because that's what I'm watching Sunday. I have the Eagles and Red Zone on.
Because the Dolphins were never in the red zone.
But I'm following like play-by-play and everything. I'm seeing incomplete pass to Devontae Parker, incomplete pass. I'm like, the guy had like 15 targets and 4 catches. It was absolutely unbelievable. And you know, we got a bad line. It ended up moving down tremendously because of the
weather. Yeah.
So, but he ended up hitting the over 41 where it closed at. It was right close to where we had it, but couldn't come home. But yeah, overall pretty disappointing week on the prop sheet. And it was very disappointing because I think we both woke up feeling pretty confident in the plays too.
I felt so good. Yeah, but no excuses. Got to do better. Probably forced a couple plays. I know we were looking at Montgomery rush attempts. They only gave us yards. Of course, the attempts, he has 22 carries and still doesn't get the yards. So stuff like that was frustrating. Probably could have been a little bit more selective, but we will learn from it and get better moving forward.
Yes.
All right. Heroes and zeros of the week. I will give you the honors. Your hero of the week is who?
Yeah, just touched on him, Devin Singletary, about one of the few things that went my way this week. So Devin Singletary, 110 rush yards, hit his over rush yards prop, helped me cash a long shot en route to a Bills victory. So Devin Singletary, my hero of the week.
All right, my hero of the week. I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. Love this dude. Bet on him again last week. Was not deterred by the Tim Boyle news. 8 for 111-1. Even added a Deebo Samuel-style rushing performance with 23 yards and a rushing touchdown. 8+ catches, 70+ receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns over the last 5 weeks. Amon-Ra St. Brown, my dude. My hero of the week.
All right.
Your zero of the week is who?
My zero of the week is none other than Baker Mayfield. I
gosh.
talked on the podcast last week. I was a little hesitant to take the Steelers in this matchup. I was expecting the Browns to commit to the run, and you know that's another story. But this line ended up moving 6 points, which I thought was completely outrageous. Even if you were on the Steelers, I think you could agree that was a pretty outrageous movement. Yes. Ended up buying into the Browns at +3, and we have Ben Roethlisberger, who averaged 2.7 yards per pass on 46 pass attempts in this game, and he was the better quarterback in the game. So that's all I need to say about that. Baker Mayfield, absolutely atrocious. Go get your surgeries in the offseason and come back and continue sucking, except just do it healthy this time. Baker Mayfield, zero of the week.
Or do it on the bench somewhere so we don't have to watch it anymore.
That's fine.
My zero of the week, I will go with Mr. Tua Tagovailoa. My guy from the preseason did not work out this season. To be fair, the entire Dolphins team was terrible. The offensive line sucked. Flores got out coached by Vrabel. The defense gave up almost 200 yards rushing, but Tua was just brutal. 18 for 38, an interception, took 4 sacks, just never even in the game. Like we said earlier, Devontae Parker seemed like he was trying to break records for least amount of yards on 13 targets. So a very frustrating game, but Tua did not come through in a big moment. Dolphins got crushed.
Yeah.
Tansy's tip of the week. You got anything for us?
I got nothing.
All right. I got 2 things here.
Go for it.
First, a quote of the week. This is the theme of the week for me. Must win does not mean will win.
Yes.
And will win does not mean will cover. Just because a team has to win a game does not mean they will. The Tennessee Titans, just because they need to beat the Texans to get the 1 seed, doesn't mean they're going to. And even if you think the Titans are going to beat the Texans, that doesn't mean they'll cover. Their goal is to win the game and get out as healthy as possible, not to cover a 10.5-point spread. So just keep that in mind. I'm expecting a lot of people, especially on Sunday morning, to take these huge favorites, these teams that need to win. They have to win the game. The spreads could get out of hand. I think if you like some of the underdogs, maybe even wait, the Lions could get out of hand. And, you know, we see this every year. Teams that have to win, it doesn't mean they're going to.
So. And to that point, you see it in some of the lines, like even like you said, the Titans. I think that line's higher than it should be. I mean, we
saw them play a couple weeks ago, and it was like 7.5 in.
Well, no, it was 10. It was 10 in Tennessee.
Okay, but 10
and they won outright, and they won outright. The Texans won outright, and then other games, even like the Seahawks being 7-point underdogs. I know the Seahawks aren't playing for anything. The Cardinals can still win the division, but a 7-point spread in that game, I don't know. I think
Dolphins, Patriots, same thing.
Yeah, you're seeing points added onto these spreads because of the situations, and in some cases, I think it's warranted, but in others, I don't know that it is. So that's a good point by you.
And then last tip of the week, I had live betting. Definitely going to be looking at that during the week. It's kind of hard to set the strategy beforehand, but just, keep your eyes open when you're watching these games. If you see a team that's already in the playoffs that maybe has seeding to play for, but nothing crazy, and they start to take these big leads, maybe you look at some prop unders. Maybe you look at taking the underdog at like a big price. If the Titans do go up, just staying on that game. If they go up 17-0 early, maybe you look at the Texans thinking that they're going to end up resting Tannehill and some of these guys to try and get some rest in the fourth quarter. So I think live betting could be very, very profitable this week if you do it right.
And I'll add one tip. Don't force anything, because we can sit here and speculate who's going to play, who's not going to play, who's going to rest. Honestly, if you have no idea, like if there's props posted, say, there was Chiefs props posted. The Chiefs still need to win the game, but the props were pretty low. Like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce seem to be 10 yards low. If you have any doubt whether they're going to play or not, just pass on it. There's no need to force anything. I know it's a Saturday isolated game. Everyone's going to be watching. There's no need to force bets and try to speculate what these coaches are going to do with their players. You're better off to pass. And like you said, you can always get a live bet based on the game.
Yep. Definitely a good week to scale back your unit size if you want to, not get too crazy or anything. Probably a good week to maybe put in some less bets or just bet it on a little bit less money due to the uncertainty. All right, ready to jump into these games?
Let's do it.
Saturday afternoon, AFC West, Chiefs and Broncos. Broncos are 11-point underdogs. The over-under is 44.5. Not a ton of injuries here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be out, but not a big loss for the Chiefs. I think it's going to be, do we have confirmation that it's Drew Lock? I know it's trending that way. Do we have official?
I'm almost positive it was confirmed he's in.
All right, so it is going to be Drew Lock for the Broncos. The Chiefs obviously still playing for seeding here. The number 1 seed is probably unlikely needing a Titans loss, but even locking in that 2 seed, I think is a big advantage, making sure you get those 2 home games if you do win week 1. So I'm all over the Chiefs here. I think they're going to come out firing. They gave that game away against the Bengals last week. They had no business losing that game. I think Andy Reid gets the troops fired up and ready to go. I like the Chiefs first half. I like the Chiefs full game. I think this Broncos team is done. I don't think they've put up more than 14 points in 3 straight weeks or something like that. Lock has done absolutely nothing on this offense. And shout out to the Broncos for hitting the under 8.5 win total that we gave out on the NFL season preview show.
Plus money.
Despite starting out the season 3-0 with 3 double-digit wins. We were not feeling great about that.
No, but you kind of saw that coming. They had the easiest schedule to start the year.
They look good, though. Like, I didn't expect them to look that good. I thought they would, squeak out a win against the Giants in week 1. And, sweat it a little bit more than I wanted to. But good call by you.
Thank you.
What do you got in this game? Anything?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll happen, but I do want to see if this game gets under 10. Maybe I would take a flat 10. Because I do like the Chiefs here. I just think this Broncos with Drew Lock at quarterback is just they're just terrible. And I think, despite what we saw from the Chiefs defense last week, I think they've progressed enough to where we know they can shut down an offense like the Broncos, who just doesn't have much outside of their 2 running backs who haven't necessarily looked great the past couple weeks. And like you said, I expect the Chiefs to come out here motivated, and they have a legit shot to get the 1 seed. Like we were talking about, there's no guarantee the Titans end up beating the Texans. So I do expect them to be playing all out at least to start the game here. So I would take the Chiefs at 10 or under 10.
All right. Any prop looks for you? We do have some lines on this game, like you said. Tyreek and Kelce, I think we're both in the low 60s. I guess they're kind of building in some of that factor that maybe they rest in the fourth quarter if they're up big. I don't have anything that really stood out to me.
Were any Darrell Williams props posted?
Not that I saw.
All right, yeah. So I'd be looking at him. He had 14 carries, 3 catches last week. Expect him to get most of the work, obviously, with Edwards-Helaire out. And if the Chiefs, get up to early lead, maybe you lean on the run game so you don't risk Mahomes taking any hits, or Kelce and Hill, you lean on Williams a little bit.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Wouldn't touch the Broncos side.
No, not touching the Broncos.
All right, moving on to Saturday Night Football. NFC East, Cowboys against the Eagles. This line has been all over the place. It opened the Eagles +3, went up to +7. Now it's in the middle, +4.5. The over-under is around 43.5. The Eagles placed I think 6 or 7 guys on the COVID list earlier in the week. It looked like they were going to kind of rest a bunch of guys, maybe not really try in this game. Then all of a sudden earlier today, it comes out Jalen Hurts is not going to be on the injury report. So it sounds like he's starting. And then the Cowboys side, they put Micah Parsons on the COVID list, Tyron Smith, Trayvon Diggs is questionable with an illness. So I've had like 8 different thoughts on this game. I feel like my mind changes every day. I don't know what to recommend here. I can't tell you what's going on. The Cowboys are still playing for seeding. The Eagles could still flip-flop between the 6 and the 7 seed, but my gut here is that the Cowboys play everyone and the Eagles try and get players some rest, but that's just pure speculation. I can't give you any concrete evidence here to make a bet here. What do you have?
So the movement back to 4.5 was because of Hurts not being on the injury report, correct?
I think it was that combined with, I guess, Diggs was placed like questionable today too. That in combination, I guess, moved it back down.
Yeah, because to me, just because Hurts isn't on the injury report, to me, I'm not taking that as Jalen Hurts is playing. I feel like he could still 100%.
I would assume that means he's starting at least. I don't know if he's playing the whole game, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, you almost can't make a play on this game, and just as much, the books can't even set a line for it. Like you said, it's just been all over the place. So it might be impossible to make a bet for this game until Saturday, until we know exactly who's going to be in. But that being said,
even if we get this Saturday, the Eagles could play everyone, but they only play for a half. I don't even know what to expect.
Yeah, so this is pretty tough one to even give advice on. So I don't like this game, and I want to go to the next one, please.
Can I go props first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, before we go, I do have to give a shout out to my guy, Zeke Elliott, under rushing plus receiving yards, cashed again, 10 total touches for a whopping 30 yards. Meanwhile, Tony Pollard only got 6 touches for 58 yards. So Zeke under rushing plus receiving yards again, been taking it in the 70s every week. I would like the books to give us a challenge this week, set a line in the 60s so it's not so easy, make it a little bit of a sweat. Zeke under again.
All right,
moving on to Sunday. NFC North, Bears and the Vikings. Vikings are 5.5 point home favorites. The over under is 44.5. Kirk Cousins is going to be back for the Vikings. Justin Fields was in line to start for the Bears, but now he is on the COVID list. I did not hear an announcement on whether going with Foles or Dalton. I mean, they're pretty much the same guy at this point. I don't know if you can really make a case that one's better or worse than the other.
It's a big decision, Nagy. Take your time. It's a huge decision. It's a week 18 game.
Your job is riding on it.
Yeah.
This is just a match made in heaven for me, though. Mike Zimmer versus Matt Nagy, 2 underachieving coaches. Both their teams are eliminated. I'd be shocked if either one was head coaching their current team next season. Obvious quit potential in this game. I know you got a really good number on the Vikings. Would you have any play at the current numbers? Because this is far different from what you played.
No, I just liked the Vikings under a field goal, and I wouldn't have taken it once it hit even 3. I just thought there was value on the Vikings. Like you said, both these teams are playing for absolutely nothing. You have 2 coaches on their way out. So I'm just looking at it as, under a field goal. I took the better, more talented team under a field goal at home. So I feel like I got great value on the Vikings. Obviously there's not much motivation, but I feel like Cousins and Jefferson and Dalvin Cook can just kind of, come out and have one last hoorah this season and cover this against the Bears. But current numbers tough.
I was kind of leaning the other way. I kind of like the Bears here. There's not really much on the field that I can tell you. I just think that this Bears team has been playing hard. We saw them win the last 2 weeks. They dominated the Giants. It seems like the team is at least still playing for Nagy or playing for a contract for the next year. I think the Vikings have bigger quit potential, bigger disaster potential personally. And I kind of like the Bears with the points, or even just taking them on the money line, like plus 200. I wouldn't be shocked if either one of these teams won by 10 points. Wouldn't be shocked if either one lost by 10 points. So I would take the Bears or nothing here. I would never lay this many points for the Vikings in a game with this much uncertainty, but I would probably pass if I was, making smart wagers here.
Yeah.
No props for me in this one.
I do have one. If Dalton starts, I know we were both on Mooney last week. I think with Dalton at quarterback, I think he's a pretty
good call.
He's a pretty safe bet. I mean, he was lined in 45.5 last week. He seems to be Dalton's, go-to guy. So if you get anything, even I'd probably take mid 50s and go the over with Dalton at quarterback. And obviously the Vikings secondary is more than beatable for Dalton and Mooney. So anything mid 50s or lower, I'll take the over on Mooney.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good call. All right, let's go down to the AFC East. Patriots and Dolphins. Dolphins are 6.5 point home underdogs. Over under is 40 here. Not seeing a ton of injuries. Obviously, the Patriots are still playing for seeding. The Dolphins are eliminated. I took the Dolphins at +7 here. Still think it's fine at 6.5. I think this number is a little bit crazy. I thought the opener of Dolphins +4 was pretty fair, but now we're, up to 6.5, up to 7 at some books. I think this is a perfect example of one of those games where they're just adding on 2 to 3 points to the spread just because the Patriots, quote unquote, need to win the game. Like, the Dolphins are still going to come out here and play hard. Brian Flores, former coach of the New England staff, I still think he wants to win this game. Tua could be playing for his life. The Deshaun Watson rumors are going to be heating up in the offseason. The Dolphins traded their first round pick to the Eagles. Thank you. Go Birds. So it's not like they have a reason to really lose this game and improve their draft position. So I just think this is too many points. The Dolphins are at home getting a touchdown or close to it. I think there's value on the Dolphins. Would never lay it with the Patriots.
I'm with you that I think it might be a little bit inflated, but I'm just a little bit hesitant. I think that Titans game kind of showed that Dolphins 7-game win streak was a bit of a fluke. You go back, you have the one signature win against the Ravens where they embarrassed Lamar Jackson and the Ravens team, but outside of that, you're playing, like Tyrod Taylor and Sam Darnold and whoever was playing quarterback for the Giants when they played them. God knows,
it doesn't even matter.
And Ian Book. So you're just playing all these backup quarterbacks, and I think that was part of. I'll be the first one to say I got a little bit wrapped up in the win streak last week when I ended up betting on the Dolphins. But when you step back and look at it, there really weren't many impressive wins in there. And I feel like we doubt this Patriots team sometimes that they're capable of blowing teams out, but they've done it numerous times this year to superior opponents. I'm with you though that I wouldn't lay with the Pats, but I'm not quite there with the Dolphins. Last week scared me, and I really think even against like the Saints 2 weeks ago when we got to see Tua for a full game on Monday night, he didn't look good. They won the game, but Tua didn't look good. And if Belichick's gonna be able to take away Waddle, who's going to be a safety blanket, he might look even worse. So you saw him last week. Waddle couldn't get going in the weather, and if that's going to be the focus of the Patriots defense, then I really don't know what to expect from Tua. So I might pass this game.
Okay, fair enough. I would not touch any prop. Maybe if you're feeling really bold, you go back to Devontae Parker. The volume was there. If Waddle gets taken out of the game, I still trust Devontae Parker's talent. I could get there depending on if the number's in the 40s, but it's definitely tough after he burned you last week.
Yeah, I think if you gave me a number in the 40s, I'd take it just because I'm not trusting a Duke Johnson run game or anything that they're going to be able to lean on. So
yeah, I think
they're going to have to pass the ball.
Yeah, I think last week it was one of those where the prop lost. It sucks, but I still feel like it was the right play. If you give a guy double-digit targets and he's lined in the 40s or 50s, you take it every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we'll see where those props open up. Let's go to our next game here. Colts and the Jaguars. Jaguars are a big 15.5-point home dog. Over under is 44. I do not have a ton on this game. The Colts need to win. My notes are the Jaguars suck. The betting market knows they suck. The spread is a clear indication of how much they suck, so no bet for me.
Fun fact, the Colts have lost 6 straight games in Jacksonville by an average of 14.8 points. No bearing on this. No bearing on this game. I just thought it was very interesting.
Not even possible.
Yeah. So 6 straight games in in Jacksonville. Sorry, and losing by almost 15 points per game. Yeah, pretty crazy.
This is a franchise that has had Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck, and maybe even 1 year of Peyton Manning over the last 6 years. How is that even possible?
So, but we look at these current teams now. Jacksonville in their last 4 games have been outscored 104-43. And
that's all.
And it failed to cover in 7 straight games.
And 2 of those were against the Jets and some other crap. The Texans.
They're 4-12 against the spread this year. And that's despite being massive underdogs for probably more than half their week. So, this Jacksonville team's just looking for the end of the season. I expect the Colts to come in here, take care of business. This would be a Colts or pass for me. I actually did an unconventional teaser, and I teased the Colts down to 9. Because I don't hate it. I feel pretty, which is something I don't think I've ever done, but I feel pretty comfortable that they take care of business here. And, I would lean the Colts if I was laying the full spread here because
there's almost not a number you could give me. I would bet on Jackson.
No, exactly.
28.5. I would think about it, but that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So Colts are pass for me.
Would you look at Jonathan Taylor rush yards around 100, 105?
Probably, maybe. I don't know. Like, this is one where I could legit see the Colts being able to sit people the entire fourth quarter. It's one of those where I'm on the fence. And you think if they get that big of a lead, it's going to be on Taylor's back.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if I want to force that one this week.
Okay. Fair enough. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Jets and the Bills. Bills are 16.5-point home favorites. Over under is 41.5. Weather for this game, temperatures are going to be in the mid-20s, 15-mile-an-hour winds, light snow. We're in Buffalo in January. What else is new? A bunch of players on the injury report for the Jets. It sounds like Michael Carter, their starting running back, is expected to play. Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, and Jamison Crowder are all questionable, already missing their top two starting tight ends on the season. So this Zach Wilson passing
left
receiving
tackle,
core, left tackle. This is a mess.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you have a bet on this game? I don't have anything on. Actually, I might have a bet on this game. I'll let you go first.
I don't, and at first glance, I would want to lean the Jets, but just with that long list of injuries, most concerning, they have injuries on the offensive line, which just for this, with Zach Wilson back there is bad news. With any quarterback, it's bad news missing linemen, but Zach Wilson more so. And then, injuries to skill position guys. It's just a bad team that's missing all these guys. I can't get behind them, but just another lofty spread where I don't want to lay it with the favorite here, but I expect the Bills to come in and take care of business to wrap up the division and win and cash my week 4 bet where I think I took them after week 4 to win the division when the Patriots were leading.
Nice. Yeah, I have an over-win total on them that I need this win for, so that would be nice. I was also going to look at the Jets here, but yeah, definitely want to see an injury report. We got to get some of these guys back. Elijah Moore is obviously the big one. If you can give me him and then Berrios, something like that, like just give Zach Wilson some kind of weapons. I think the Jets can hang around here. If none of those guys play, it's just a pass. I'm not laying it with Buffalo here with the way Josh Allen is playing. Props for you in this one. Are we going right back to Devin Singletary? It's got to be a good spot.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to. It's going to depend on where the line opens up.
I'm thinking low 60s.
I was thinking low 70s actually, just after last week.
I think it'll bump up that much.
Well, based on last week and based on the matchup, I think it's possible. If we did get mid 60s or low 60s, I would definitely like it there because as frustrated as we were in the first half, he still ended up seeing a ton of carries and was able to. And against the Jets defense, he should be able to easily get over a 60 total but he could do that in 13 carries against this defense.
Yeah, 23 for 110 last week, and he has seen 86% of the running back touches over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I don't think you can go wrong with him in this matchup.
All right, I'm also going to look again at Gabe Davis props. We'll see where he's lined at, but 40-plus receiving yards in 3 straight and 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games. He led the team in routes, run, and targets last week. Should be another good spot for him. And then one more prop here for me. We obviously don't have lines here yet, but longest field goal prop. They normally offer these in a lot of the games. I'm going to look at an under here if you get something in the low to mid 40s. Like I said, temperatures in the 20s, 15-mile-an-hour winds, light snow. Jets kicker Matt Amendola is probably the worst kicker in the entire league. He has 2 field goals all season made of over 40 yards, multiple missed extra points, and Tyler Bass, the Bills kicker, has not made a field goal longer than 40 yards since week 9 in Jacksonville. So the Bills are a team that like to go for it anyway. The Jets are a team that's normally playing from behind so far that the field goals mean nothing to them, so they go for it, and their kicker sucks. So I think the longest field goal prop here could be a good look, especially outdoors.
Interesting look.
Thank you. Do what I can. All right, moving on. NFC South, Panthers and the Bucks. This line is trending down and down. The Bucks are 8-point favorites right now. Over under is 41.5. I guess there may be some speculation in the market that the Bucks are going to be resting players. They do still have seeding to play for, the 2, 3, or 4 seed. Some injury notes for them. Both their running backs, Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn, are banged up. It sounds like Rojo probably not going to go. Keyshawn Vaughn should be available. Mike Evans returned to practice today, so I think he should be good to go. Obviously, Antonio Brown is gone and off the team. So we'll kind of see what the Bucks do here. If the number stays in this range, I think the Bucks are a fantastic teaser leg. I think they're going to try and win this game, especially if the starters come out there and play the first quarter. But it's just kind of risky right now. I don't want to get stuck laying 8.5 or laying 8 or having the Bucs in a teaser, and then all of a sudden they announce Brady and Evans and all these guys are sitting. So it's just a wait right now. But if we get this on Sunday, looks like all the Bucs are full go. I think this is a great teaser option. The Panthers suck, and the Bucs will take care of business.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to wait through tomorrow. And if I don't hear anything about anyone sitting, I think I would feel comfortable putting the Bucs in a teaser. I'm not going to try and speculate how long they're going to play in this game, and I don't want to lay the full points, but like you said, there's still seeding implications here. So I expect the Bucs to do what they have to do to at least win the game. So yeah, I definitely like the teaser lean here.
All right. Any props for you?
If Keyshawn Vaughn's the only guy back there, I think he's definitely a good play in the passing game. I think there's a chance Gio Bernard might come back. If that's the case, I wouldn't touch either of them. But if it's just Keyshawn Vaughn back there, I think he could catch a ton of passes from Brady out of the backfield.
Okay. I haven't had a ton of luck with the Bucs backfield in the past few weeks, but maybe we can turn our luck around.
And just a side note, I mean, obviously, if you've been listening this long, or this far into the podcast, you realize there's not as many numbers to break down. Like, I feel like we're usually going to the numbers of each game. This is more spots and situations, and who's. I mean,
playing. Week 18 is
like
so the analysis you're doing is just like,
yeah. So I just want to just caution with the numbers you're looking at, because obviously, there's so many injuries at this point in the season. There's COVID news, there's guys resting. So it's like, it's more about just looking at the spot and teams and what they're playing for and all that. So not as much time spent on each game breaking it down in terms of numbers. So just want to make a side note of that.
Week 18, you do not want to be using traditional handicapping methods to break down all these games, because the numbers will look insane to you. Titans and the Texans on tap next. Texans are 10-point home underdogs. Over-under is 43. A win clinches the Titans the number one seed in the AFC. This is a rematch of Week 11, where the Texans won the game 22-13 outright. Ryan Tannehill had 4 interceptions in that game. Not a ton of injuries here. It seems like both teams are pretty well rested. I don't have a play here. I think I'm going to be on the Texans. I think this is a lot of points right now. Like I said earlier, I expect there's going to be money coming in on these big favorites, especially on Sunday. So for me, this is wait as long as possible. I'm fine with the Texans at 10, but if I can get 10.5, 11 and a half, like, just wait it out and see what happens. So I'm going to take the Texans here at the biggest number I can get. Would not lay with the Titans here. I think they're going to win the game. I just think it's going to be closer than 10 points. What do you have?
Yeah, the Texans still seem to me like a team that's like, they haven't given up. They still want to play. I think you have Davis Mills, who's still fighting for, a starting job potentially in the future. And like we kind of said, this kind of seems like an overreaction line to the Titans needing to win to clinch the number one seed. I didn't hear if you said this, but I'd probably wait till Sunday to take the Texans, because I feel like the Titans could take on a ton of money on Sunday, throwing it
literally
money.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Sometimes I'm pre-reading like my notes and stuff, just so I have my stats ready or whatever.
We're on the same page.
But yeah, I think they could take it on a ton of money on Sunday. So yeah, wait on the Texans. I'll probably end up buying into them on Sunday, because this is too many points. And I think this number with the Texans, they could hang around and have a backdoor spot at the end.
Yes. Yes, but I mean, even if the Titans rest guys, you could have a 17-point game. The Titans take out some guys, and then backdoor it even easier. One quick note I did want to make here: this is obviously very, very unlikely, but there's a good chance this game is going to be open during the Chiefs Broncos game. Like, it's still going to be available on your sports book. On the off chance that the Broncos somehow upset the Kansas City Chiefs, do everything you can, lay as much as you can, load up on the Texans plus 10.5, Titans team total under 26.5, prop players under, because that will mean that the Titans clinch the number one seed, will not need to play any of their starters. And it could be, I mean, this spread can end up closing like a pick'em if that happens.
The Bengals don't have a shot at it?
I don't think so.
No?
Maybe I have to double check that. I thought it was just the Chiefs.
I thought the Bengals had a shot. Maybe I could be wrong.
All right. Double check that first, though.
I do have
Bengals are also starting Brandon Allen, though.
So I know. But all right. Well, the Browns, it's like the Browns are throwing out a Pro Bowl team over there.
All right. So we'd have to check how the tiebreakers work then. Props for me in this game while you can look that up. I'm definitely going to be looking at Deontay Foreman rush yards. If we get somewhere in maybe the high 60s, low 70s, 26 for 132 and 1 last week. Only 9 for 17 the week before, but 2 weeks ago, 22 for 108. I think this team is going to as Rue said, run him into the ground like a used car, whatever weird analogy you use, because Derrick Henry's on his way back and Foreman's been really good for this team. So I think he's going to get 20 plus carries here. And I could easily see him having another 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, I'm with you on Deontay Foreman. It looks like the Titans, if the Chiefs lose, they would, I think they still need Cincinnati to lose based on what I'm looking at. This is a very confusing chart I'm looking at, but it looks like they would still need Cincinnati to lose.
Okay. Yeah. So the Bengals can still get the 1 seed.
So
you're right.
Do not load up on the Texans. Forget what Jeff said.
Scratch everything I just said.
It was a good thought, but
although we're still going to be betting the Texans, but don't unload on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Normal bet.
And yes, I'm 100% with you on Deontay Foreman.
Any other props?
Nope. That was my one prop in this game.
No Brandon Cooks.
Oh, Brandon Cooks. That guy is like, yeah, for anyone who took the prop last week, the guy cashed on as time expired, he caught the last play of the game for 14 yards to hit his over by 1 yard. I mean, I gave up on the prop. I didn't even know.
But he had like 45 yards in the first quarter.
48 yards in the first half. He didn't have a catch until that. He had like one short one, and he had that one at the end of the game. And I didn't even know. My brother texted me because I completely gave up on it. And he said, "Dude, do you believe that happened?" So yeah, I guess maybe we could go back to Brandon Cooks. We'll see where it's lined.
See where it's lined. Next game up on the docket here, footballs and the Giants. Giants are 7-point home underdogs. Over under is 38. Weather's going to be low 30s with a mix of rain and snow. Mike Glennon is done for the season, so it sounds like it's going to be Jake Fromm back in there for the Giants. We also have Brian Lewerke as their other quarterback on the roster, I believe. I have not heard confirmation on who's starting. Joe Judge is a disaster right now. He's saying all kinds of crazy things in press conferences. This team has more than quit. I'm on the footballs here at -6.5. I like him in teasers. I like the Giants team total under 16.5. Anyway, I can fade the Giants in this game. I'm going to do it. It has been very profitable over the last few weeks, and let's keep going back to it. Seems like the footballs are still playing hard.
Yeah, so the Giants had to hire some more security this week at their facilities to stop all the players from breaking in, trying to get a roster spot. And everyone just wants to play for Joe Judge, apparently. Former players, current players, everyone's just – they might expand the Giants roster to 75 next year just to accommodate all the guys that want to play for this awesome franchise.
For less money. No money. They don't even play for money.
They might actually pay to play on the team. They're going to pay Joe Judge's salary in order to get a roster spot. Look, I don't know if Schefter tweeted that out yet. I might have saw that earlier, but no, I'm with you. I'm on the footballs here. You had Joe Judge also take a little shot at Ron Rivera in the football, so that should give him enough motivation carry. Yep. And this team, I mean, did you happen to look at their team passing yards last week?
I had the Mike Glennon under passing yards. So yes, I was well aware that they threw like 8 passes in the whole game or whatever.
Okay. But do you know what their overall team passing yards were? Sacks are factored into this, mind you.
Was it like 44?
44. That's what you think it was? Try -6. You and I combined threw for more yards than the New York Giants. So
amazing.
Glennon threw for like 24 yards or something, but the sack yards put them at -6 team passing yards. So I don't know what else you need me to say about this game. Just take the footballs here, tease them, take the money line.
Oh god,
this team, with Fromm at quarterback, it might maybe look at -4. I don't know if he's an upgrade from Glennon or not, but that just an absolute disaster. This team, they are. I said a few weeks ago, I thought they were one of the worst teams in the league. I think they are worse than Jaguars right now.
They're definitely getting there.
If these teams played on a neutral field to pick them, I would 100% bet the Jaguars. I'm not kidding.
That was one of the best stats I've ever heard. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Any props for you in this one?
No.
I might look at Jared Patterson if Gibson sits again, but we will see what that situation looks like. Moving on, Saints and the Falcons. Falcons are 4.5-point home underdogs. Over under is 40. The Saints are still very much in the playoff mix. They need a Niners loss, which is more than probable with them as a 5.5-point dog. They win this game, they are in the playoffs. I would say they might be one of the worst playoff teams of all time if they got in there. I think this team is god awful. I see no reason why they should be laying 4.5 points on the road in the division game. They have scored more than 20 points just once over the last 6 weeks, and it was against the Jets, so I'm not sure it really even counts. We've also talked all year about the Falcons splits against good teams versus bad teams. I have the Saints rated a couple points lower than an average team, so I am all over the dog here. I don't mind putting the Falcons in an unconventional teaser either. I know Rue mentioned this earlier with the Colts getting them down under 10. So I have the Falcons in a couple teasers up to 10.5. You get through the key numbers of 7 and 10. And the thing I like about this is there's some books out there. I use Fox Bet and Barstool, or 2 books in PA that we can use, where their teaser prices are set based off the numbers you use. So if you don't do the traditional Wong teasers that get you through 3 and 7, you actually pay less juice. So I did a teaser with the footballs and the Falcons earlier today, only paid -104 for a 6-point teaser. So if you can do some of these unconventional teasers, get them at -110, -105, I think the Falcons are a great option. I have a hard time seeing the Saints winning this game by double digits, let alone even more than 3 points. So give me the Falcons at 4.5, teasers, money line, whatever. What do you got?
Yeah, it just feels like the Saints almost aren't interested in playing offense. It's like they just want to try and keep the game as close as possible and let their defense win and do just enough on offense to where they win by a few points. So I think if you're getting over a field goal with most teams in the league right now against the Saints, I think it's a good bet. So I'm with you on the Falcons at 4.5. I think it's too many points.
All right. Love it. And there was some speculation about Kyle Pitts. I saw a report today. It does sound like he is expected to play. I believe Underdog NFL tweeted that out. If anyone is not following them, they are starting to give injury news for the NFL. They have done that for the NBA for a long time, so give them a follow. No props for me in this one. Anything for you?
How many yards does Pitts need to break the rookie record?
I thought he wasn't even close.
No, he was close before last week. I think he only needed like...
Oh, no, wait, didn't he do it already?
Let's see.
I'm getting confused now. I don't know.
Oh, he needs, quick math, 57 yards to break it.
All right. Kyle Pitts over 57.5.
Yeah, if you get something there, I don't think that's a bad play. What else do they have to play for?
I'm with you. Yeah, I don't think that line's crazy. What was he last week? Like high 40s?
Yeah.
All right. Kyle Pitts in the mid 50s. Over. Let's do it.
Cool.
All right, moving on. Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Lions are 3.5-point home underdogs. The over-under is 44.5. Jared Goff's status is up in the air. I would say he's trending towards playing. He was at practice today, but no official word on if it's going to be him or Tim Boyle. The Packers have all came out and said that they're playing their guys. Matt LaFleur said it. Aaron Rodgers said it. Devontae Adams said he's playing. So it sounds like they're planning on playing everyone. They obviously have nothing to play for. The 1 seed is locked up. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I would assume they're going to come out there and play. How long? No idea. But I think the Packers in the first quarter, the first half here, I think that is a fantastic angle. I believe LaFleur. I believe these guys are playing. I think the MVP means something to Rodgers. He was on whatever it was, social media this week, calling out the reporter that said he wasn't going to vote for Rodgers MVP because of all his antics and, called him a bum. So I think this stuff matters to Rodgers. I think he's motivated. I think they're going to come out and play here in the first half. So I'm all over the Packers early, and then wouldn't touch the full game spread just in case the Lions come back late, since the game does not mean anything for the Packers. What do you have here?
It's almost like Matt LaFleur came out and said, we're playing all the stars. And the book said, no, I'm not falling for that, because they moved the spread, 1 point, 1.5 points in reality.
Because it was 11.5 before this.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was, so I mean, I took the Packers money line and -2 for the full game, in addition to some first quarter plays. Cause like you said, the MVP 100% means something to Rodgers. And if Brady's playing too, I think Rodgers is still going to come out. And even if it's in the first half, he could go out and throw 2-3 touchdown passes in the first half. We just saw the Seahawks absolutely torch this Lions defense. So Rodgers could easily put up 28 points in the first half against this team. And I think that alone could be enough to cover the full game spread. And right now there's no first quarter, first half spreads posted at any of the books straight up, but there's a few books where you can go to the same game parlay options, and they're in there, and you can parlay a couple things like that together. So just keep an eye on that before any news comes out that the Packers stars are only playing the first half, and maybe the line starts getting inflated.
DraftKings, don't tell anyone. Would you look at some Packers starters under if they go up, 14-0, and you get a live line on Rodgers yards? Would you mess around with that, thinking there's no way he plays the full game, or do you still think that's a possibility he plays the whole game and throws for 350 yards and nothing's wrong?
I think there's a chance I really think there's a chance he could come out in the second half and play. I don't see him playing in the fourth quarter if they have this game under control. So maybe, but I could see him playing into the third and maybe the full third.
I mean, he could still throw for 350 yards in 3 quarters. Like it's the Lions defense. So.
I mean, we tested the waters on a Rodgers under last week and it didn't work out.
We were so close. One more drive.
Yeah, and that was in like -5-degree weather. Here he's in a nice, comfy dome and playing against a team that just let up 50 points. So, and a side note on this game, Dan Campbell, I just want to say, screw you, Mr. We're going to unleash DeAndre Swift.
What was the point of that?
So is that what it was? That the terms he used? I don't know if those were the exact terms.
I think it was unleash. Yeah.
But he basically said we're going to unleash DeAndre Swift last week and we'll rest him after week 18. So I'm here like an idiot and I believe what he says. And I bet DeAndre Swift props.
So did I.
Yeah. And the guy touches the ball like 5 times in the entire game. Doesn't even get the carries inside the goal line. It was, if that's your definition of unleash, I just got to stop believing things coaches say. I really do.
I just don't get what was his I don't know. What was the benefit of him saying that? Why couldn't he just say Swift's gonna play, we'll get him some touches? I don't understand the reason. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Props for you in this one.
I'll let you take Amon-Ra. That's the only one I have written down.
Oh yeah, Amon-Ra, St. Brown overs. Get ready, baby. 60s, 70s. He's going over. Talked about it already. His production is unmatched. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown. Nothing on the Packers.
If they posted an Aaron Rodgers rushing line, would you take the under?
I mean,
do you see him rushing at all in this game? Or is it just sit back, light up this defense?
You don't have to twist my arm to take a quarterback under rush yards.
Take care of the toe.
Yeah, be fine with it.
Let's see what he did. He did run 2 for 8 last week. If I gave you a line at 6.5, would you take?
That's where he normally is. Yes, I would definitely take the under. Lions D line does not generate a ton of pressure. I could easily see him sitting back there all day and picking apart this defense.
He's gone under that in 3 out of the last 5 games. So you have an 8, -1, 11, and then 0 and 0. So I think that'd be a good play.
It.
All right.
All right, moving on. Steelers and the Ravens. Ravens are -6 in this one. The over-under is 41.5. We do not have official confirmation on whether it's going to be Lamar or Tyler Huntley. Lamar and Hollywood Brown both did not practice today. So, reports early in the week sounded like Lamar was trending towards playing. I would say now it's trending like he's not going to play. I was pretty pumped up for this game. I thought both teams had a realistic shot to get in the playoffs until I looked at the playoff scenarios, and basically both teams already eliminated. They would both need the Colts to lose to the Jaguars. The Ravens would also need a Chargers loss and a Dolphins loss or tie. And the Steelers would need the Chargers Raiders game to not end in a tie. So essentially neither of these teams are making the playoffs, but they're probably still going to be playing hard. Do you have a play on this one?
Where did you see a 6? I'm seeing 5 and 4.5 right now.
Yeah, you jumped the gun and you missed the 6.
Oh, I thought you gave out the lines that they were at now.
Oh, they're not. I mean, I updated them as of like an hour or two ago. Maybe a move. Oh, wow. It is 4.5 on FanDuel. You're right.
Yeah. So
I literally bet it like 2 hours ago when I was making the spreadsheet and I had 6.
Oh, well, regardless, we'll end the year.
It may have been the Lamar. I think the Lamar didn't practice news came out within the last hour. Maybe that's.
Did anyone expect him to play though? That's strange. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll end the year with the Steelers underdog game. This line, it really does seem like an absolute trap. And you could make a case for the Ravens winning this game. I think they could absolutely win this game, but by 6 points or more, I don't know. I just don't see it. Just seems like way too much value. You have Big Ben's last game. You have TJ Watt going for the sack record. And I think the Steelers defense, which was, went through a few rough patches here. I think they've been seem to be somewhat back on track. And, Tyler Huntley, as good as he's been, he doesn't scare me enough. And I trust the Steelers. I don't trust Big Ben. I trust the Steelers defense enough to keep this one close.
Yeah, I get that the Steelers are not a great team right now. Big Ben looks horrendous. Has anyone watched the Baltimore Ravens? They're just as bad. They lost 6 straight games, including one to the Steelers. They lost 20-19 the last time they played back in week 13. They're not scoring on offense. Their defense is horrible. Tyler Huntley took 5 sacks last week on 37 dropbacks. It now goes up against TJ Watt, the sack monster who's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't understand this line at all. What did the Ravens do to deserve to be 6-point or 5-point favorites in a division game on the road?
And they've played every game's ended in 1 or 2 points over the last 3 or 4 weeks for them. So I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah. They got blown out by the Bengals, but every other game is a 1 or a 2-point game.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just maybe we're jumping into a trap here, but it just seems like this line is way off. And I this came to me. You put the situations in, you put the teams in, all the Ravens injuries. This game's like almost. It feels like a toss-up game, doesn't it?
Right. Both these teams are like the same. Yeah, I get the Ravens have a little bit better quarterback, but like the Steelers have a better defense. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah. So I can't wrap my mind around this one. Maybe we're missing something, but it just values with the Steelers for sure, in my opinion.
Guess we'll find out on Sunday. Prop looks for you in this one.
I got nothing here.
Mark Andrews. Dude's cashed like 6 weeks in a row. He's a monster. If you get him in the low 70s, high 60s, I'm going to keep going back to it. He has been unstoppable over the last 6 weeks.
I'm more of a reception guy, so I think you could look there too.
I know last week was just such a sweat though. Like he hit the receiving yards like early in the third quarter. The reception he did not get until the final drive of the game. He had 2 catches on back-to-back plays to hit it. So like that scared me off a little bit. But I mean, either way, he's hitting both the yards and the receptions for him every week. So
what about a Big Ben under pass yards? He's gone under 200 yards for 3 straight weeks now.
Yeah, I'd be fine with
and
that.
He's still been lined in like the 220s and 230s.
Yeah. And I did not mention the weather. It's supposed to be low 30s with a mix of rain and snow. So maybe they lean on the run game a little bit more.
So, yeah, I think if I get like a 220 for Ben, and Deontay Johnson is now up in the air to play. He went on the COVID list today. So,
yes, good point. Yeah, we have no idea if he's going to be back or not. Seems like it's going to be too close to get back in there, but like the new COVID protocols, I don't even want to speculate. So,
all right. Yeah. So I'm making that official. If Big Ben's in the 220s or higher, I will be playing the under.
He also probably needs like 6 months to recover his arm from throwing the ball a million times last week. So
yeah, 46 freaking passes for what 120, whatever the heck it was. 2.7 yards per pass. How do you, that? I said all week I've been trying to like it keeps me up at night trying to figure out how that's even possible.
It's really even bothering you.
I don't get how you can average 2.7 yards per pass. It's unfathomable. And like his third down passing, the guy's completion percentage on third down was like 90%, but he only had like 2 first downs. I don't know. It's getting ugly for Big Ben. He looks the worst he ever has right now.
Turns out when it's 3rd and 10, it's pretty easy to complete a 1-yard pass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even the Ravens secondary should be fine because all he's doing is throwing 1-yard passes on 3rd and long. So
can't get beat deep when the quarterback can't throw it more than 20 yards downfield.
Yeah, and then I swear he just makes up his mind before the play. He's like, all right, I'm just going to chuck this one up to Chase Claypool. And he's never open. Chase Claypool is never open. If he makes the catch downfield, it's because he makes a spectacular catch, but he can't get open. It's just Big Ben chucks up. He completes like 1 out of every 15 to Chase Claypool downfield. God, I can't. But Steelers plus 5.5. Don't worry, I'm not talking myself out of the Steelers.
Would you like to say any parting words to Big Ben? This may be the last time we ever talk about him on this podcast in a betting sense.
No. Pass. I got nothing to say to Big Ben. He's done nothing for me. None of these Steelers underdog covers.
I bet on him like 16 weeks in a row.
I bet on the Steelers. I didn't bet on Big Ben.
All right. Enjoy retirement, Big Ben. All right, moving on here. Bengals against the Browns. Browns are up to 6-point home favorites amid the Joe Burrow is going to be out this week news. The over-under dropped like a rock to 38. Joe Mixon is also going to be out. I saw something about Jamar Chase yesterday that he was, I guess, questionable. CJ Uzama's questionable on the Browns side. Baker Mayfield's out. Case Keenum's in. Dearness Johnson's on the COVID list. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are both getting limited practices in with injuries, so they're questionable. I don't know what the heck to do with this game. I was lucky enough to grab the Browns at +1 when the Burrow news hit, and I think I'm in the middle of this one. I just put in the Bengals at +6 before we got on here. I was trying to wait and see where the number goes. It looks like it's held pretty steady. I honestly think the Browns are going to try and lose this game. I think that Kevin Stefanski wants a better draft pick. I kind of felt like he was trying to lose the game last week. Obviously, the Bengals don't have a ton of talent with Brandon Allen at quarterback, but they still do have something to play for. So I kind of feel like the Bengals are going to win like a really ugly, low-scoring game here.
Yeah, I, like you, also grabbed the Browns at plus money. I took their money line, and I, too, also middled the Bengals before we got on here at plus 6.
Look at that. We didn't talk about this.
I saw a few 5.5s popping up, so I didn't want to lose the 6. So so I threw it on the Bengals. And honestly, I could see this game being like a 9-7 type game going.
Seriously.
The weather looks bad. There's going to be up to 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and I don't understand 6 points here. Like, the Browns got an upgraded quarterback. I'll say that. But based on what we saw last week from this team, I don't think this team has any fight left in them. I don't think you can make a case to lay 6 points in a game like this. So if I'm betting this now, I'm taking the Bengals. I honestly don't see any. What's a total on this game at now? 36?
38.
Yeah. So, okay. So 38, and you're giving me 6 points. I have to take that every time. So, let's hope for a 9-7 Browns win and we cash both bets. But if I was betting, if I didn't have a position on this game right now, I would still bet the Bengals at plus 6.
I wouldn't even hate like a same game parlay teaser type of thing. You get it like, let's see, if you go under 45.5 and the Bengals plus 10.5, that comes out to minus 112 on FanDuel right now.
Yeah, that's
Bengals to keep it within 10 points and the under 45. Like, how is this game going to be 27-20? Like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
I think something like that's a great option if you don't have a position on the game, or you just bet the Bengals plus 6. Like, I thought when it reopened, I thought it was going to be like a -4, -3.5. I think this is kind of crazy. So,
yeah.
Props that not in a million years could I give a prop out here with any kind of confidence. Anything for you?
I have one. Samaje Perine. His rushing, he's going to be the guy. I could see him getting probably 20 touches in this game. So we'll see where he's been involved in the passing game throughout the season.
Yeah, he's a good receiving back.
Third down back. He's gotten a few catches every game. So maybe look for, I don't know. I don't know if I'd probably rather do his rushing yards, just given Brandon Allen and
do both rush plus receiving.
Yeah. I guess rush plus receiving would be a safe play. So, he'd be my only prop look in this game.
Okay. Oh, we just got Big Ben passing yards while you were speaking.
Oh, come on. What is it?
Guess. This is on DraftKings.
I'm gonna say it's a little short of what I wanted. It's like 215.
Nah, you were right in line. It is 230.5.
Oh, let's go. All right. I will put it in right now.
All right. We also have Deontay Foreman rush yards at 69.5.
Love that. Live bets happening right now. I love it.
Yeah, this is nice on a Thursday. Darrell Williams rush yards 61.5. That's probably a little bit high.
That's a little higher than I wanted for him. Deontay Foreman. All right.
Cook 65.5. I'm gonna wait on that. See if we can get low 60s.
Oh, I thought I actually bet Big Ben's over. We're good. We're good.
We know you've done that before.
Yeah. Hey, the one time I did it with a futures bet, I talked about this. Anyone who's been listening since the start of the season,
Lamar one.
I was complaining about it the whole start of the season. I accidentally bet Lamar under passing touchdowns for the year, under 25.5 when I meant to bet the over, and it is now going to hit.
You accidentally hedged your Lamar MVP position perfectly.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along here. NFC West, the Seahawks and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are around 7-point favorites right now at home. The over-under is 48. The Cardinals need a win and a Rams loss to get the NFC West division title and host a home playoff game. James Conner and Chase Edmonds, both on the injury report. Conner has missed the last 2 weeks for the Cardinals, so we'll see if he can get back in here. I think there's really only one question that you need to ask yourself in this game, and that is whether or not Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll give it their all in potentially their last game together in Seattle, or if They're already thinking about their vacation and going through the motions. I tend to lean that Russ is not the type of player to roll over and die. I think he's going to give it a real effort here. So I'm leaning towards the Seahawks. I think this is a little bit too many points. I don't know if I have the coins to pull the trigger yet. I have not bet it, but I think anything over a touchdown's got to be Seahawks or pass. I really wouldn't even be surprised if they won the game. I know that sounds crazy because we kind of left the Seahawks team for dead a few weeks ago, but the offenses came to life a little bit. I'm not 100% bought into the Cardinals. I think the Seahawks are a little bit live here and could certainly keep it within one score.
Yeah, I don't think you're crazy at all for saying they're live to win the game. I absolutely agree with you. And I actually, right before we got on here, I saw a 7 pop up, and I took the Seahawks. I think what you saw last week, I think you saw the Seahawks playing loose for the first time all year. It was just they weren't playing for anything. Wow,
imagine what happens when you just let Russ go out there and do his thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think you're going to see a similar approach here. They have a chance to, end the season on a good note and put a sour taste in the Cardinals' mouth heading into the playoffs and ruin their chances at winning the division. So I think you're going to get a similar, not performance as last week. I don't expect them to come out and score 50 points, but a similar effort where it's just Russ going back there, using his weapons on the outside. And I can absolutely see Seahawks winning this game. And I said it at the top, 7 points here is just, I think this is, 3 or 4 points too high for this divisional matchup. That you're getting here because the Cardinals are playing for something and the Seahawks aren't. So I really, really like the Seahawks here.
Wow. Shocked to hear you say that. You have not been on the Seahawks very much at all this year. So if you're buying in, I like it.
All right.
And the only other thing I wanted to note was the Seahawks do not own their first round pick from that atrocious Jamal Adams trade. So they do not have any incentive to lose this game. So just another added reason why they're probably going to be trying to win here. Any props for you?
No.
All right. None for me either. Maybe Zach Ertz receptions. That's been like absolute money the past few weeks. We'll see if we get another 4.5 line there. That's been really solid.
Yeah.
Not the yards. He does not get any yards, but he catches a lot of passes. Moving on to Sunday night. No, we're still in the afternoon slate. Sunday afternoon football. Niners and the Rams. The Rams are 4.5-point home favorites. The over-under is 44.5. The Niners need a win to lock up a playoff spot. The Rams need a win to lock up the NFC West and secure a home playoff game. These two teams met in prime time in week 10 on Monday Night Football, where the Niners stomped the Rams 31-10. Obviously, that was Jimmy G. We do not have confirmation on whether it's going to be him or Trey Lance. Jimmy G's been at practice this week. He's been throwing, but I don't really have a great feel on which one it's going to be. Matt Stafford threw 2 interceptions, including a pick 6 in that week 10 game. The Niners ran the ball for 156 yards, controlled the clock, got Deebo Samuel in space. And I see a lot of the same things here. They thoroughly dominated that Rams team in the trenches. I think this is Niners or pass here. I was shocked the spread opened this high. I played the Niners at +5.5, played their money line at +190. I really feel like the Niners are going to pull this one out. I would like it to be Jimmy G. If it's Trey Lance, all right, let's ride. See if he can do it. I feel really good with Jimmy G. If it's Trey Lance, I think he can still get it done. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you. I know I texted you as soon as this opened and said, grab the Niners now because this is only going down. I actually was able to get their money line right away at +230. And then I got the 5.5 as well. 5.5 to 4.5, it's not a huge difference, but
right.
I knew it was going to move only one way. Shanahan's had McVay's number. He's won 5 straight against them, 6-3 against the spread overall. And even if it's Lance, I felt like in the second half, obviously I want Jimmy G, but in the second half last week, it seemed like they kind of turned him loose a little bit more. And he definitely looked a lot more comfortable throwing the ball downfield in the second half. So I liked what I saw in the second half from him. Didn't necessarily use his legs as much, but I think this is a matchup where you could see him do that more. It's hard to evaluate the offense completely with not knowing who's at quarterback. But I like you said, I think the 49ers can have success running the ball here. Deebo and Mitchell have proven to just be great weapons back there. O-line's been pretty dominant, and I think they can have success against the good Rams defense. And I feel like Stafford right now, you're waiting for these turnovers to regress that but it's not. 6 turnovers in the last 2 games, barely escaping a Ravens team with a backup quarterback and injuries all over the field. It's almost like the Rams are winning despite Stafford right now. So I do not trust Stafford, laying points in in a matchup like this, a divisional matchup that was so much on the line. So I just don't trust Stafford right now at all.
Yeah, I don't think they've looked great in any of their last few games. I mean, I know they're on a, 5-game winning streak, but, I think some of those wins were a little bit fluky, and Stafford has not been playing well, like you said.
Yeah.
Props in this game. My favorite prop here, probably on the week, has disappeared for some reason. I got Elijah Mitchell over 65.5 rush yards on DraftKings yesterday. I thought this line was at least 10 yards too low. The Rams have a solid run D, but Mitchell has cleared this in 7 of his last 8 games, 21 for 119 last week, 27 for 91 against the Rams in week 10. I think the volume is going to be insane here. He's going to get 20 plus carries. I'm not sure why they took this line off the board. Hopefully it comes back up somewhere in the 60s and everyone can grab it. I thought this was a really good look.
I must have missed that text that you sent me. That prop was up. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, definitely sent it to you for sure. So make sure you check your text messages.
No, I like that.
I didn't think it was going to disappear. I didn't think I was going to have to text you. But.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely like that. Outside of that, maybe if Lance plays and we get a discount on his rush yards based on last week, I would go back to it.
Okay. Low 40s.
Yeah. I was thinking high 30s. Only rush for 29 yards last week, I think he ended with. So I'd need quite a bit of a discount. If not, I would just pass on it.
Okay.
And if also with the Elijah Mitchell rush yards, I would lean a rush attempts if they actually post the line. They barely posted any last week, but
for some reason they just don't post attempts.
Yeah, they just pick and choose who they post it for. So
yeah, Taysom Hill, you'll get attempts for it like Tuesday at 9 a.m. But no one else until Sunday at noon. Like,
exactly.
What are we doing? All right, ready for Sunday Night Football?
Yeah.
This is our debate of the week, the game of the week, the AFC West Chargers and the Raiders. The Raiders are 3-point home underdogs. Over-under is 49.5. This is a winner get in for the playoffs unless that weird tie scenario happens, but we don't want to think about that. I'm going to be on the Raiders here. You're going to be on the Chargers. Would you like to go first and state your argument, or would you like me to?
I am the leader, so I will be a gentleman, and I will let you go first.
Throw me off here. All right. I'm going to be on the Raiders at +3, and here's why. I'm expecting the return of the Walrus himself. Darren Waller has been at practice, limited all this week. I think he is going to play. I think he unlocks this whole offense. This Raiders offense was solid last week, but they have been kind of treading water for the last month. Not very impressive. Josh Jacobs has finally started to have some success on the ground, though, the last few weeks. I think that's a big key. 16 for 63 last week, 27 for 129 the week before. I think if the Raiders can establish a run game, that's a big help to their offense. And then Waller just totally unlocks the passing game. No more double teams for Hunter Renfrow. Zay Jones has stepped up in a big way. 6+ catches, 50+ receiving yards in 3 straight. I really like this matchup for the Raiders offense, leaning on Jacobs on the ground, setting up the play action pass. I think they can score some points in a division game at home in Las Vegas. This place is going to be rocking. I think this is a toss-up. I think it comes down to the wire, 27-24, 24-23, somewhere like that. So if you're giving me 3 points at home, give me the Raiders all day here. Derek Carr punches his ticket to the playoffs amid all the adversity this team has faced this year. The Raiders win and cover.
All right, let me ask you, do you trust you trust the Raiders run game against a bad run defense more than you trust the Chargers pass offense versus a bad pass defense?
Okay, so to be fair, I think both offenses are going to have success. I'm in no way saying that the Chargers offense is going to have a bad day. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I like the matchups for both teams. I just like the fact that I think it's going to be a very close game. They're at home and they're getting points.
Like despite my Chargers defense rant last week about them being the worst defense in NFL history after the Rex Burkhead incident, which we won't speak of,
they showed up last week.
Two out of the last 3 weeks, the Chiefs didn't torch the Chargers on the ground by any means, and they did a great job against Javonte and Melvin Gordon last week. And Jacobs has had some success last few weeks, but I'm not expecting him to come in and light it up. And I'm expecting the Raiders to have to pass the ball. Obviously, Waller coming back is a big deal, but I just hate the Raiders secondary in this match. Well, I love it from a Chargers standpoint. I hate it for the Raiders. I mean, the quarterbacks the Raiders has faced over the last 6 weeks. You had Wentz already barely passing the ball, coming off of COVID, not practicing all week. Drew Lock, Nick Mullins, Heineke, and then Mahomes and Dak, who are the only good ones out of that bunch, and they both lit them up. Granted, they beat they beat Dallas, but it took, like I've been saying, 9 million penalties for them to do it. And the first matchup between these teams in the season, Herbert threw for, over 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and you had Eckler on the ground running for over 100 yards as well. The Raiders' run defense has stepped up over the last few weeks against solid running offenses. I'll give them that. But the Chargers don't need to run the ball and have success. I just think the biggest weakness, Raiders are 25th in the league in DVOA against the pass, 9th against the rush. The Chargers need to pass the ball to be successful, and I think they have a ton of success against this Raiders defense. I like the Chargers team total, team touchdown, so I think the Chargers could have a big offensive game here.
All right. I was really impressed with what I saw from the Raiders last week. To go on the road, beat the Colts outright. They dominated that game. They outgained the Colts 326 to 262, and that included one of the flukiest touchdowns you will ever see. Carson Wentz had 140 passing yards, and 60 of them came on a deep bomb into like triple coverage that tipped off a guy's hands right into T.Y. Hilton for a touchdown that should have been intercepted. So I was very impressed with what I saw from the Raiders. I don't know how this team keeps doing it, but I think they're just going to keep rolling here.
I just think the only times this secondary has been really tested, they've crumbled over the last couple months. That's and I think it's kind of based on their matchups. They haven't really been exposed as much as they should have. So I just love the matchup for the Chargers passing offense here.
All right, see who comes out on top.
All right.
Any prop looks for you in this game? Would you go back to Keenan Allen? He was a little disappointing last week.
Yeah, it was so disappointing because we got a line at 5.5, and I just absolutely
loved it. You never see.
Oh my God. So yeah, I would absolutely go back to him. Especially I think it goes back to 6.5 just based on the matchup and the game and everything. But I would probably still take him at 6.5 in this game. Granted, the odds are minus 120 or better.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to lay a ton of juice on it. All right, I like it. Ready to jump into our long shots of the week?
Yeah.
All right. Favorite bets priced at odds of plus 200 or greater. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let me get the odds up here. So I think this is a great week to take a shot on some money line underdogs. So I'm going to do a little parlay here, get some nice juicy odds. We're going to go Steelers, who I think are absolutely live for the money line, and then a team we just talked about, the Seattle Seahawks. So wow. Seahawks and Steelers money line parlay right now on FanDuel is plus 838.
Wow, dang, so, that's big.
That's a pretty. Honestly, that's not. I don't think that's a bad bet at all.
I can easily see both these teams
plus 800 for two teams. I think are getting 3 points too many. So $100 on that's going to win you over $800. Let's do it.
There's some. I mean, just thinking about the money line underdog, like Bengals. Could you see them winning? Like,
yeah,
100%. And what are they? Let me get the prices right now. Just while I go through these. So Steelers are like plus 180. Definitely see that. Bengals are plus 200. Think that's a fantastic look. I know you like the Vikings. I could see the Bears winning the game plus 190. I know we both like the Niners plus 175. Seahawks plus 230. Falcons, I don't even hate. Like there's a ton of you could have some really fun. I might even do like a money line underdog round robin for like a small amount of money, just to have some fun.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad
juicy odds out there.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
Kind of take advantage of the week 18 variants and embrace the mayhem.
Yeah.
For my official long shot of the week, I'm going to go back to my guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to do a little same game parlay. Let's go Amon-Ra St. Brown over receiving yards, say somewhere in the high 60s, low 70s, him to score a touchdown. And then let's go with the Packers in the first half on the money line, assuming that these starters are going to play for the first half and they'll get out to a lead. So hope that'll be around plus 300, plus 350. And that'll be my long shot of the week.
All right.
Favorite bet of the week. What do you got week 18?
Oh man, I'm bouncing all over the place here. I want to take Seattle. I also now, yeah. Going through the week, I've grown more on Pittsburgh, and then I have a Packers.
I hated Pittsburgh 2 days ago, and now all of a sudden they're in contention for favorite bet of the week. All right,
you go first. Let me think about this.
My favorite bet of the week. I love the Packers in the first quarter in the first half, but my favorite official bet of the week is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs first half minus 6.5. I bet this on FanDuel at -6 earlier today. -6.5 are still widely available. I said it off the top. I think this Chiefs offense comes out strong. They take care of business. They're not going to mess around. They know what's at stake here. They've scored 30 plus points in 4 straight games. Meanwhile, the Broncos have scored 13 points or less in 3 straight games. They did not look like they were playing with a ton of life last year. And in terms of the first half, the Chiefs have covered the first half spread in 7 of their last 8 games. So I think getting this under a touchdown, I see the Chiefs up 17-3, 21-3, something like that. This Broncos team is dead. Give me the Chiefs first half favorite bet of the week.
All right.
What do you got?
All right. I'll stick with what I was originally going to go with, and I will go with so you can get this now at DraftKings and BetMGM. You can do a same game parlay. You can take the Packers at plus half a point in the first quarter. So if there's a tie, you win that, and then you parlay it with the Packers first half money line. That's going to get you -110 odds. So Packers plus 0.5, or no, I think it was actually better. Actually, was it plus? It was plus 130. I think we said before we got on here. So a plus money favorite bet of the week: Packers plus 0.5 first quarter and first half money line.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some speculation built in. You're hoping the guys play. You don't really have official confirmation. But if this was, if we knew that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and the Packers were going to play this entire first half, the bet you just gave out would be like -280. So fantastic value. It's hard to argue with. I think it's worth the risk.
Yep.
All right. Do we want to do a chalk donkey parlay this week?
Might be pretty tough, but let's see what we can.
Yeah,
see
some
if we
of
can
the big favorites are so big that it doesn't even move the odds.
Yeah.
Colts and Chiefs.
So yeah, if you go Chiefs, Colts, Bucks, I feel pretty good about, right? That's
probably.
And then I feel like the only other one I'd feel comfortable throwing in is the Bills, and I don't know if that would be good enough odds.
Is the footballs too risky?
Yeah, I'm good with the footballs. Yeah. All right. So if you do Chiefs, Colts, Bucks, and footballs, I have plus 114.
I have plus 117.
All right. So that's DraftKings plus 117. We good?
Chiefs, Colts, Bucks, footballs, money line, parlay for the chalk donkey.
All right.
Sounds good to me. All right. Anything left to say as we wrap up the final week of the regular season?
Oh, no, man. I'm it's bittersweet. I'm looking forward to the playoffs, but at the same time, these big slates of games are coming to an end. We're going to have less bets in every weekend on football, but let's get all this money from the futures bets we placed before the year and put it to good use in the playoffs.
Yeah, hope everyone checked out our season preview. We had Najee Harris, the trifecta, the rush yards, the rushing plus receiving yards, and the receptions all come home last week officially. So we had some nice season-long futures that are all coming to fruition now. And yeah, we'll be back all throughout the playoffs. I think we're going to be recording on Thursdays through the rest of the year, just so we have a little bit better handle on who's playing, the COVID situations, the injuries. So we're not really rushing to get in on Wednesday and try and bet all these props. So we'll post on Twitter, but just look for us every Thursday night, Friday mornings in your feeds. We'll still be having the prop sheet every week. And yeah, thank you everyone for hanging with us all season. We've had an absolute blast. I know we feel like we've had incredible season. I feel like I've gotten so much better as a bettor just coming on here, talking everything over with you. It's been a very fun time and looking forward to keeping it moving through next season. So any questions, comments, or concerns, hit us up on Twitter at BetRightPod. DMs are always open. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Smash the like button on our YouTube page. The link to the YouTube will be in the description of this podcast. From Jeff and Rue, we are the Bet Right Sports Betting Podcast, because every time you bet with us, you bet right.